So with Hollow Knight Silksong coming out this year, supposedly, I started going through all the new characters that we've gotten so far, and I figured I'd make a character guide. Light spoilers ahead, obviously, if you don't want to know anything heading into the game. But yeah, let's go. Hornet. Okay, moving on. Lace is a fencer wielding a gilded pin and apparently really wants to kill Hornet. Like a lot. She seems to have a bit of a sadistic personality, gleefully offering to end Hornet's future suffering just by killing her. She's gonna be a fan favorite for sure. Sharp is an assassin and hunter from a distant land. He and his two companions were tasked with eliminating Hornet. He uses his proboscis as both a blade and a whip, and we'll have to deal with him a lot throughout the game. Hunter Queen Carmelita is the queen of the ant tribe. In the trailer, we see Hornet fighting her here in what looks like a giant opera house, with balconies full of ants. We know that Hornet meets her mentor, the Church Keeper, after fighting the Moss Mother, so I think it's safe to assume that the Moss Mother will be one of the first bosses, if not the first, of the game. So she'll probably be pretty easy. I say as I'll probably get my ass kicked by her. So I'm assuming that the last judge is going to be a boss, but take that with a grain of salt. And same thing with this guy, but I had to include him because look at him, his design is so cool. And speaking of characters that we don't even have names for, we're apparently going to fight this giant robot, which looks incredible. Shakra is a fierce warrior who's searching for her master who disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Since every member of her clan is a master of a specific skill, she focused on cartography. I definitely don't expect her to be friendly and humming away while she gives us charts and compasses like Cornifer though. In Deep Docks, which looks like a big industrial forge, we meet Forge Daughter, who will provide us with new tools and upgrades. The little guy on the right is our assistant Ballo. Originally, I thought that they were just beings made of bells, but other enemies in the area look like they're just wearing bells as helmets, so I'm assuming that Forge Daughter and Ballo are just fully decked out in this bell armor, but I could be wrong. Grindel is a common snitch bug. While he's traveled all over the kingdom, most of that's been while incarcerated for being a thief. We see Hornet freeing him from a jail cell in the trailers, and we'll be able to bribe him to give us information. Whether it's actually useful information or not, remains to be seen. Sharma is an optimistic pilgrim on a spiritual journey who will need to save multiple times throughout the game. And just side note for a second, I think they really knocked it out of the park with these designs, because I haven't even met Sharma yet. Like, look at his little hat and tell me that you wouldn't jump in front of oncoming traffic for him. Garmin is a lively old bug, and Zaza is his noble steed, as they try to find a new home. Garmin is apparently going to chew our ears off, but Zaza could be the real brains of the two. I feel like they're definitely going to be fan favorites as well, especially Zaza, since the game is hinting at them having a lot more complexity than they let on. What I'm guessing is the grub replacement of the game, the caravan of Fleas are friendly travelers trying to find something. They describe themselves as having one humble wish. What that is, we don't know. But we do know that they need help getting all the Fleas across the kingdom and that they'll have amenities available. That will probably be our reward for returning the Fleas to them. The Druid of the Moss Temple is going to give us a quest where they need moss berries for the concoction that they're brewing in their cauldron. That's really all that we know, since we only see them for a split second. All we know about the Church Keeper is that we meet her pretty early in the game and that she's going to serve as a mentor for Hornet. And as we've seen in footage, she carries a woodwind instrument. The Huntress is a towering old predator who knows a lot about the state of the kingdom. She's currently waiting for her eggs to hatch. I really hope that at some point in the game we're able to come back and see that all her eggs hatched and that something crazy happens. While the Bellbeast is going to be our main fast travel system in the game, it doesn't start that way. While the last stag in Hollow Knight started out as friendly to us, the Bellbeast will be trapped in silk when we first meet her, and after rescuing her, she then attacks us. So once all that is over, then we'll befriend her. Trabio is a flamboyant butterfly who seeks fame and adoration in the kingdom of Farloop. What's really interesting to me about this scene is the structure behind him though. We know that Hornet will be traveling upwards to the kingdom's peak, so is this a model of what the kingdom's peak looks like? It would kind of make sense that he'd have a model of the top of the citadel, since it would definitely make sense that a star would want to rise to the top. Seth is guarding a secret long forgotten at the base of the citadel. An eternal protector, he will attack anyone who approaches. He also fights with a giant shield that he throws like Captain America, so that's sick. It seems like we at least end up on good terms with him though, as we see him without his armor at some point. Although it is at least possible that we meet him when he's just chilling at his camp and then he warns us that if we go after what he's guarding, then he'll have no choice but to take us down. Also, if you haven't seen the backstory behind the character's creation, I definitely recommend looking it up. Okay, so I made an entire section for the ant tribe because they look so cool and I have to talk about them. Since I've seen so many people compare them to the mantis tribe of the first game because of their love for fighting, I'm curious to see what Team Cherry does to differentiate them. We know that they have a gladiatorial fighting style and that they love using the shells and the bones of their victims for their weapons and armor. I can't really tell if the bridge here is supposed to be made of bones as well or not, but it seems like they like building structures out of bone. Even their queen, who looks very fancy and upper class compared to her subjects, wields blades of bone and is able to summon spikes of bone from the ground. The juxtaposition of Carmelita's fight and everything else that we've seen from the ants in this game is so interesting. Her fight takes place in this big theater auditorium. It seems like a combination of an opera house and a coliseum, which is fitting, but I'm curious to see if the music aspect of their culture mainly stems from their queen, or if the ant subjects themselves will have more complexity to them. I'm also curious to see if bones are actually something that's really important to them, or if they just live in an area where there's a ton of dead bodies and they just use what's in their environment. So obviously there's a ton of other enemies that they've shown in trailers that look really cool and need to be mentioned, but none of them have names, so I put them in a quick little slideshow for you.
What is that?
Ew, what's that?
Oh. Yes! Game!
Nice throw!
Aye.
Whose horse is that?
Maybe you got rid of that old yee ass haircut you got.
That's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Ma'am, I was already a blood-sucking parasite. All I needed was a briefcase.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
I'm just a baby. I'm just your baby.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Bapanada. Muma, Desiree? Opum Sanjo.
Hope you have a great day.